Hello, everybody. This is Jeremy, Jordan, and Anthony returning for another year of our fantasy football podcast.
Hey guys,
Going on?
So a lot's
happy
changed
to be back.
in the off season, and hopefully we've all learned a lot more based on our successes or failures from last year.
Yeah, so Jeremy, how well did you do last year? Because you had a pretty rough
I
season.
had a single win. I had just the one win.
Well, and then we got the opposite side of the spectrum. Anthony, who ended up winning the whole thing, right?
I got really lucky though. I limped in to the playoffs. Uh, in fact, I think I was actually looking at the records from it, and there was like 3 or 4 teams that had the same record. And I think Adam explained that in the playoffs show last year, but I think it was basically like the division record is what got me in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually thinking about proposing a rule change and throwing it up for vote. Instead of having it by the division record, have it by overall points. I feel like that's a better measurement of how good a team is. So I'm gonna probably post it on Facebook this week and see what feedback we get on it.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
Okay. Granted, I benefited from it last year, but I don't feel like that was a fair. There's some other teams that probably could have made it and that had a better, were better teams. And my team I got lucky and got hot at the right time. So.
Hey, it's half of fantasy football, right?
Yeah.
Getting lucky.
It is. So many times, the teams that should win end up, they end up losing in the playoffs, and it's unfortunate for them, but for the teams that win, it's I guess that's what makes it exciting, right? Is that you're never out if you make the playoffs. So.
Got to get in. Anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, should we move on to our first segment of this podcast?
Yeah.
Of what I have prepared.
Yeah, let's get into it. So, first thing we want to talk about is our top 3 QB predictions for this year. Jordan,
Right.
I can see that you have some. I thought
Can you see
this
that
was talking
PowerPoint?
about top 3 drafted QBs, so my list is going to be a little bit different than yours, but I think still good stuff.
So this is my projection for next year, based purely on what I feel like is going to happen, based on trades and how good the offenses are. So we'll start out. I have the top 3, and these can kind of be thrown around a little bit. So first, coming at number 3, I got Josh Allen.
Hang on one
See that
second,
in
Jordan. Your stream is frozen for me.
Oh no.
Yeah, we do have a frozen stream here. So if you want to turn, there it goes. Okay, nice.
Oh, yep, there we
I
go.
think you just
got
need
it too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and walk us through your predictions.
All right, can you see it
Matt
still?
Hasselbeck, I see
Yep.
right there.
It's Josh Allen. All right. Josh Allen was one of the top quarterbacks last year. The Bills don't run the ball great, and I don't think they did much to improve that in the offseason. And Josh Allen has gotten better every single year that he's been in the league, so I think he'll be another top quarterback. Number 2, and this might surprise some people, I got Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs have one of the highest powered offenses in the league. And the only reason he's at number 2 is because who I have at number 1, and that's Ryan Tannehill. Obviously, they added Julio Jones this past year.
Ridiculous thing you just said.
Ryan Tannehill is one of the most efficient passers in the league, and honestly one of the most underrated quarterbacks. Using the play action with Derrick Henry, he'll have A.J. Brown's gonna have a better season. Julio's gonna have a good season. I think Tannehill might be the top quarterback this year. But like I said before, these top 3 are gonna probably be pretty tight. But I think Tannehill probably doesn't get the respect that he deserves a lot of the time, and that he's my number 1 quarterback.
I think the news on this is we don't see a Deshaun Watson in the top 3. I mean, come on.
Well, I don't know where or if Deshaun Watson is going to be playing because
I know I'm just.
But I have heard that some teams are still trying to trade for him, so that's interesting.
Well, I feel like you might as well try. I mean, throw something out and see what
I mean,
his value's plummeting, right?
Yeah, he's reporting for camp though because he doesn't want to get fined $50,000 a day.
Yeah, that would.
So he's going to report to training camp. I'll be curious to see how the media handles that whole situation. So, but anyway, those are my 3 top QBs. You guys got anything?
I think
they're solid.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
Okay,
No, go ahead.
for
Yeah.
fantasy QB wise, I would say this year the top three I would stretch for are Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady, because I think those guys are just going to be consistent enough where if people start going for QBs, I would go for one of those.
So is Aaron Rodgers playing this year? Do we know that yet?
Yes, he's playing this year, and he's earning and I'm gonna predict that he's going to try and earn the number one quarterback contract after this year in Green
Well,
Bay.
he was offered the top paid
Yeah, but I don't think he
position.
wants it in Green Bay.
Yeah, I think if he plays, I think it's going to be an interesting situation because you got him and who's the wide receiver there?
Davante Adams.
Devontae are both on contract years, and neither one of them are taking that long-term contract with Green Bay. So they're both playing for something.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't. It's possible, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there's times where Aaron Rodgers has been the top quarterback in fantasy, so it's not infeasible.
I just don't think
Uh,
Green Bay did anything to help the offense necessarily. They got rid of their second running back, Jamal Williams. Detroit has him now. So then you got A.J. Dillon. So the running game's not quite as strong. I mean, you still got Adam Jones, who's going to be amazing, but you don't know how many games he's going to play. A.J. Dillon's good, but we haven't really seen much of him. So if you're going to rely on the passing game, then defenses are going to probably get attuned to that. And that's my only thing why I didn't put Aaron Rodgers up there, because I don't think their offense really got helped that much this year,
yeah,
especially if
I
Jordan
don't.
loves the quarterback.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think I could see a situation where he could be top five, but to say top three, that seems a little out of it right now. My quarterback, you kind of took my guy, who I was thinking. I like Tannehill. I don't know if Tannehill could start the whole season and he can keep his wide receivers pretty healthy. I think he's got a really good shot because he's been one of the most efficient quarterbacks while he's healthy in the past 2 years.
Exactly.
Since he became the starter, which I think was partway through 2019, if I remember correctly.
Well, since he left Adam Gase and got to Tennessee.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. I don't think he was a starter right away. I think he started midway through 2019.
Yeah, I think Mariota was there.
Yeah, I think since he took over, I heard I was listening to some podcast the other day, and I heard that he's like the second highest scoring quarterback since he became the starter behind Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely possible there. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other. Obviously, Dak's coming back. If Dak's healthy, I think he's always a possibility, provided they can figure out the running game there. I think Dak brings that whole team up. And they certainly still have the wide receivers. I'm assuming Zeke hasn't completely lost it, so
he looks in shape, better than years past.
If Dak can stay healthy and there's no setbacks, I think Dak's kind of a possibility there too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next thing I got, where we're doing studs and duds. These are studs that might not get drafted in the first couple rounds. Number one, I have Laviska Shenault from Jacksonville Jaguars. He has probably Trevor Lawrence throwing to him. Gardner Minshew seems to think that there's a competition for QB, but we pretty much can assume Trevor Lawrence is going to be there. So Laviska Shenault, apparently he is going to be the number one option for Jacksonville. I've been hearing DJ Chark hasn't necessarily shown out too much in practice or in training camp yet. We'll see what happens, but I think with Trevor Lawrence, then you could probably see a rise in Shenault. Two, I got Robert Tonyan. He proved to be pretty good last year, and he's being projected as like tight end number 9, I think, or even below that in a lot of leagues. He was just a touchdown machine. Probably should have been a Pro Bowler last year. Got snubbed. And then at the top, I have Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase. I think if you pick any of these 3 wide receivers, they can probably be either wide receiver 1 or 2, with maybe the exception of Devontae Smith, just because the quarterback situation in Philly. But I think all of these wide receivers have great upside and probably going to have good seasons. They're not being projected to be drafted that high.
I really just have just one guy, and his name is Justin Fields. I think he
Of
is
course it
going
is.
to come into this and break records of fantasy points scored. So that's really who I think is going to be a big stud this year. That's my guy.
Sorry, I missed most of what you said. I had some other noise going in the house. So,
Uh,
um,
Justin Fields is the goat.
no, sorry, Jordan. What he was saying.
Well,
Jordan,
my
it looks like we're locked again. Like we're froze. It's still
Oh
on the
no.
quarterbacks.
There you
Oh
are.
no. I'll just keep it like this
You're on
then.
studs now.
All right. Well, apparently playing it won't work, but anyway, Laviska Shenault, Robert Tunyon, and then Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, and then Jamar Chase. Those are my top guys that are going to be up there. I was going to put Cole Beasley, because his projected draft position is pretty low, but I don't know if he'll actually be playing this year based on some of the comments he made recently. I don't know if he's trying to get cut from the Bills, but his teammates are like arguing with him on Twitter about the vaccine. Which I don't know. I could see that causing problems in the locker room. But I mean, if he plays, he gets receptions and he doesn't drop the ball. So he could be one of the top guys too. So watch out for Cole Beasley if he's playing on the Bills this year.
I will watch out for him, Jordan. If I see Coles Beasley around me, I will be ready. Hey,
Good.
excuse me, are you Cole Beasley?
Oh, you'll know him if you see him. He also raps. So
Hanging out in Michigan.
yeah, anything, Anthony?
No, that's I'm good with all that. I did not do my research in the sleepers here.
All right. Well,
Sorry.
so I also had three people that probably aren't going to have great seasons.
Yeah, I have some duds as well.
First who I don't think are going to have good seasons. I have Najee Harris. People for the Steelers think he's going to rejuvenate the run game. The Steelers' run game hasn't been great. I don't think it's necessarily James Conner's fault last year or any of their other running backs. I just don't think their offense is good necessarily.
Yeah, I mean,
they have good pieces, but I don't know if that's going to be a better offense. And they switched offensive coordinators, but he's been in the organization for years, so I don't know if anything's necessarily going to change, especially with Big Ben still throwing the ball.
yeah, I mean that offense, they just couldn't get going last year on the ground. And it didn't matter if it was Connor or any of the backups. No matter who you put in there, they were getting contact right away.
Yeah, exactly.
Really hard to get going when you're getting hit behind the line of scrimmage over and over and over. So, yeah, they'll have to figure out some things. And maybe the new coordinator will do something, but I think you got to do some things on that offensive line.
It's just they're just such a boring. Like they don't. I feel like with Big Ben captaining that ship, it's just been the same thing it's been for so long, and it hasn't been good enough for so long. It's still not going to be good enough this year.
You also got to remember that the Steelers center, who's been there for years, he retired. So new center. I mean, Big Ben. I mean, Dwayne Haskins is the backup, so I don't know if you necessarily have anything better there. But anyway, my second guy was Joe Mixon. I feel like he always gets drafted pretty high and then never really pans out like people want him to. If you look at him, I mean, he has the skill set to be a number one kind of guy.
Oh, I thought you were making fun of the way he looks.
No,
just
I
look
mean,
at
this
the guy.
picture isn't the best, but I think Chip's had problems with him in the past. That's why I kind of wish he was on here, but he has no power. So, I mean, Mixon and kind of like a Giovanni Bernard, like you think, oh, he'll get me a few points, but they're never really as good as you think they're going to be.
Hey, you say what you want, but Giovanni Bernard won me the Super Bowl last year. So
That's true. That's true. And then the third guy I have on this is Michael Thomas, just for the fact that he chose to get surgery in June on his ankle when he could have gotten it much sooner. So we don't necessarily know when he's going to start. It could be until like week 4 until he plays a game. No one really knows, and no one knows why he waited till June to get ankle surgery when he could have gotten it much sooner.
as a
might
Michael
be a
Thomas
Scottie
owner,
Pippen situation.
That's what people are saying.
I was pretty upset when I saw it the other day. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!"
I thought about you as soon as it happened. I was like, Anthony's gonna be pissed.
Yeah. So, needless to say, I'm looking at alternatives to keeping Michael Thomas right now. If anyone trading for him, you can get him at a rock bottom price.
We'll see what happens in the draft.
I have two deads, and these might not be guys that we were expecting to like be the anchor of the team, but I think Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones are both going to have some pretty iffy seasons, both because of their coaching situation and both for the opposite reasons. I think the Jaguars are going to be a dumpster fire this year, and I think on the Patriots side, Bill Belichick isn't going to be as effective at coaching Mac Jones because it feels like every guy that Bill Belichick has touched, every quarterback he's trying to push through here, from Cam Newton to the guy who plays for I forget the guy who plays for the 49ers.
Garoppolo?
Garoppolo, yeah. Garoppolo, probably an exception. Like, he was a decent quarterback, but Bill Belichick has clearly not had any of the success that he had with Bill since or with Tom since Tom left, and I don't think Mac Jones is going to turn that around.
Okay, not to totally take us off subject, but did you see the tweet that Tom Brady posted? I think it was today.
Into the jug machine?
Yes.
That was amazing.
I don't know if that's real or not.
I
but
thought
if
it
it's
was
real,
fake.
that is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I can't tell.
I immediately
Explain
thought
to
he.
our listeners and viewers.
There's a video of Tom Brady doing practice, or just throwing footballs, and instead of throwing to a person, he's throwing into the jug machine, like that receivers used to practice their catching, and it
wow.
is incredible.
That's crazy. Yeah, I could see him doing that.
Like, it's the size of the football.
Yeah.
Like, there's no room for a mistake. It's so. I think I think you're right about Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's got to win the job to begin with, and Gardner Minshew sounds pretty strong. Sounds like he's not going to give that up without a fight. Did you hear what he said this weekend?
No,
Yeah, that he hasn't taken a shit in 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, he's not going to be number 2.
I don't know if that job is up for grabs. I mean, who does anyone think Minshew's going to win that job over Lawrence?
I don't think anyone does. No, I think everyone's pretty much assuming that's going to be Trevor Lawrence's job.
And then in New England,
I don't necessarily think that's going to be a dumpster fire of an offense, though. I think there's a lot of good pieces there.
They got a good running back.
Yeah. And there's a lot of talk about
Etienne.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. And then I think they got a new wide receiver.
Yeah, they got Marvin Jones from the Lions.
Didn't they draft someone too? I thought they drafted someone.
I'm not sure.
Maybe I'm thinking something. Sorry, I'm just kind of getting back in the swing of things, so I don't know all the new names yet. But it's a decent team. I think it's one to watch out for. That's if I had to pick a team to one of my sleeper teams, I think it could be Jacksonville.
I don't know if Urban Meyer is ready for professional football. That's what a lot of people. I think that's where I have my doubts is if Urban Meyer can coach that team. Because it's much different coaching college than it is coaching the pros.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have full control over everything. You're kind of just a manager. Like you don't have as much power, obviously.
He's actually given away a lot of his power too, comparatively to other head coaches, because he is kind of outsourcing a lot of the roles that head coaches do, and he's functioning more of a culture guy than an anything else guy, right? From the way that it looks on the inside, he's filling as many positions as he can with guys who know more than him. So maybe
Are we talking about Jacksonville or Detroit?
Dan Campbell, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Motor City Dan Campbell. But he's doing the same thing. He's trying to set the culture, and then he's bringing in people. Number one, a lot of people that have played.
Yeah.
So they have,
Yeah, so they can suit up when the Lions are going 0-14.
I think the difference between Dan Campbell though is Dan Campbell was an NFL player, he screams respect, and I don't know if a college coach can grab that as effectively as he does.
Not away, I should say.
It'll take time. Yeah, he's going to have to earn that respect, I think. I mean, and I'm sure Dan Campbell's the same way. But when you hear that guy talk in a press conference, I mean, I kind of wanted to go suit up and run through a brick wall for him myself. So
somebody I forgot to put on my studs list, Tim Tebow.
What?
He's on Jacksonville.
He might be the starting quarterback here if Minshew keeps holding that shit in, and if Trevor Lawrence doesn't do well. That'd be great to see Tom Brady in a Jags jersey strut out there.
Tim Tebow, not Tom
Or
Brady.
Tim Tebow, sorry. Broken clavicle, first tackle.
Yeah, did you guys hear about Brady?
Yeah, he was
Apparently, he
had a torn ACL or whatever.
I think it was an MCL
Yeah.
all
MCL.
season, and he still did what he did.
Well, Tampa Bay is going to get in trouble for that probably because they didn't disclose that information
Yeah.
like they're supposed to the league. But I mean, it's impressive. I mean, it just adds to the legend of Tom Brady.
You won the Super Bowl. You pay whatever fine that is.
Yeah.
Whatever, yeah.
Alrighty. Anthony, you got some stats you said about
Yeah.
the draft?
So this might basically I've got some information based on what our previous drafts. I've got some information on how the teams, like if you draft in that position, how do you typically end up, things like that. So I've got some of that we can kind of talk about when we do the draft position picks. I will say the toilet bowl winner of last year, which was Adam, has chosen the first overall pick. And that is the prize you get for winning the toilet bowl. So he will be drafting first overall this year. So that pick is already chosen. It's already off the clock. Good job, Adam. So I'm not sure how we wanted to do it. I've actually found a website. Where did it go? Okay, so it's a draft order generator. We can do it like that. We can do it pulling things out of a hat. I don't know. What are you guys thinking?
Let's just do the order generator. Can you send me a link and I can do it? Or if you want to do it on your end, we can do it like video, like on the video if you want to hit the stream or share your screen button.
Yeah, I can. Let me do that. Bear with me 1 second.
Okay. Jordan, what do you think the best pick is? If you had won the toilet bowl, where would you have picked to draft?
I would have tried to get either number 1 or number 2. Because it really depends if you have a keeper that you like. So let's say you have a first round keeper, right? You don't need that number 1 pick.
Yeah.
I'd almost rather have the last pick in that round then, so that you're picking first the next round.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it kind of depends. Like, I don't have any number 1 keepers. Like, I'm not keeping Zeke this year. So, I mean, if you want to get that pick, you're probably going to want to, and I'm going to guess this is a lot of people's strategy, take an elite running back.
Yeah.
Because there aren't a whole lot of them. So, I mean, number 1 pick's probably what I would have gone with, too.
Yeah. It hard to say no. It will be. I'm not 100%. There is some interesting statistics about the number 1 pick concerning their win rates. That Anthony brought up. We'll get into that later on.
Yeah, I guess we could go through that real quick.
Yeah.
Let me get that out of there. Okay, so we know Adam's taken the first overall pick. The first overall pick, going back through the years, the mean rank or the mean finish position with that first overall pick was 8th place.
Wow.
Had a high, the highest finish, the top finish in that pick was actually 3rd place, which has happened twice, back last year and then 2016. With the worst happening in 2019, they finished 11th.
So draft position ain't everything, clearly.
No, it's not. It's not. And it's actually pretty inconsistent when you look through it. Like, you go from 3rd in 2016 to 10th to 5th to 11th to 3rd. So pretty inconsistent. I don't know if you can draw a lot from that, but it's certainly not top 3 every year.
Yeah, it's not a huge advantage. It's not the advantage that it kind of sounds like it is.
Yeah, it's so again, we don't have a lot of data points here, so it's hard for me to say, oh, this is what it is. I did pull a mean and a median just to give us a couple different data points, and the median draft finish position was 5th.
Okay.
So based on the deviation of the data, I think that's probably a little closer to what that finish will be.
Yeah.
But that's what we got there. So I think the nice thing in that spot is Adam is getting top talent at what I'm presuming is running back is where he's going to go. And then he should have a couple nice picks when it comes back around at the end of the 2nd and early 3rd.
All right. Perfect. let's see what who's getting what here.
Okay, so I haven't actually done this. I've entered all the teams except for Adam. I've got 11 teams. They all have one ball, essentially one draw. Everyone's got a little over 9% chance for these
Now,
picks.
Anthony, how much can I pay you for a second ball? Off air, we'll cut this.
No, we won't.
Please hold. Now, so we got everyone gets the same pick, same percentage, all that, and I'm gonna go ahead and randomize the order. We're gonna just see how this goes.
All right.
We're gonna do it live, guys.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Oh. Dun dun dun.
Yay!
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's getting
Where's the
worse for
juice?
you.
7th? Oh.
Okay, so
There it is.
we all saw that pop up. That happened very quickly. I was hoping I could pause it and we could talk about each pick, but
Just redo it and then we'll do it too.
No, shut up.
no, we'll just leave it the way. Okay, so with the second overall pick, we got Get In Jack. That's you, Jeremy, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so bear with me
Oh,
one second.
look at that. You two get the first or the second and third pick.
Oh, shut up.
So here's something for you. Second overall pick, the average draft, I should say the average finish position has been 9th throughout the years. So actually, it's worse than the first pick.
That's an improvement for Jeremy.
It is an improvement for Jeremy. The top finish there was also 3rd. And it's pretty inconsistent as well. It's all over the place. Worst finish was in 2018 was 11th place. So like the first pick, inconsistent results, but generally you're not finishing, top 3, top 4.
Yep.
Third overall pick starts to get a little better. Has a average finish of 6th place. And it's actually a pretty consistent spot. So throughout the years, it was 6th, 5th, 8th, 4th, and 6th. So it's one of the more consistent spots to draft. And it, unfortunately for me, you know what? The thing is, you do make the playoffs. If this were to hold, which is the important part, yeah. So 4th place, and with the 4th pick, we get Busted Lip, which is Brendan. Unfortunately for Brendan, the average final spot there is 10th. So not much. Actually worse. That's the worst of all the picks so far, which that kind of surprised me. I was expecting, as you got near the middle of the draft, I was expecting this to get better.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, this pick has been a tough one for us throughout the years. The best finish ever with that pick so far in the past 5 years is 5th place.
Wow.
With the worst being 12th back in 2018.
Ooh.
Yeah. So with the next pick, 5th overall, we get Lions Kool-Aiders, Mike. And Mike is in a nice spot. The average finish for this spot is 7th. So that's the highest so far. The best finish was actually 1st place. And this pick actually has won the Super Bowl twice.
Whoa.
Which is the most out of any pick.
Yeah, that's a extremely high concentration from our sample size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this pick has some pretty wild swings. It's won the league twice, back in 2016, the first year we got data, and then last year. But it's also finished 11th, and it's finished 12th once. So it's all over the place. This is the most inconsistent pick out of all of them.
Well,
you're either going to win or you're going to be bottom of the barrel.
As Ricky Bobby said, you're either first.
That's right. If you're not
you
first,
ain't
you're
first,
last.
you're last.
And with this pick, that's kind of the way it goes. So 6th overall is Mike Dick in a Box, Jorge. The average finish for this position is 5th. With the top finish ever was 2nd back in 2016. This one actually was fairly consistent back in the first couple years. It was 2nd, 4th, and 3rd. But recently it's kind of died off. 2019, this draft position ended 7th. And then last year, this must have been Jeremy's because this was last place last year.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you take out the noise of last year, it really is actually a pretty decent draft spot. Which, again, I can say, take out the noise, take out that one year that it's way off. But when you only have 5 years, it's hard to
it
it's hard to do much there. So
Mhm.
I think it's a good spot. I think Corey's can do something there. You're right in the middle, so you're getting a pick every equally every round. I really like the middle personally.
Me too.
It's just easier to draft. Seventh place is the refrigerator. That's Nick, and this is actually one of the few times Nick is not drafting last or in the bottom four. He has been down there quite a bit. I found when I was pulling the data for this. So seventh has a. Wait a second. Let me make sure. Okay. Seventh has a average finish of fourth.
That's good.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, its median finish is third, but the mean throughout the years is fourth. Its top finish was second place, and that was last year.
All right.
So and it's actually a fairly consistent draft spot. So this is one of those. This is a really good spot to be in. Throughout the years, they've had a lot of success here. Eighth place is the Juice is Loose, Jordan. And Jordan, you should feel pretty good about things, actually. The average finish, excuse me, the average finish with the eighth spot is fourth.
That's not bad.
4.4. Yeah, you've actually had there's been a league winner out of this draft spot as well, which was back in 2017.
All right.
Other than 2019, usually it's top five. This is a playoff spot. 4 to 5 years you've had a playoff team out of this draft spot.
I hope to continue that.
Damn it, Jordan.
Yeah. This when you figure in when I pull all the information from the mean draft position and the median ending, this is actually the third best spot to draft. The pick before you was the first best spot. So
it's not it's not a sexy place to pick by any means, but
no,
I mean
it's not.
It'll get the job done.
Blue
hopefully.
Collar. It's a blue collar draft position.
Hey,
call me blue collar
lunch
Jordan.
pail,
So I'll take it.
Lunch pail type draft position.
There you go. All right, so ninth overall, we get to Bombs. Ninth place. Now, I was expecting, again, middle and these kind of ninth, 10th, which I would consider fringe to the middle. I was expecting these to be pretty decent spots. This one actually has a median finish of between 9 and 10.
Ooh.
Yeah, not a good look. No Super Bowl winners have come from this draft position, and it actually, when you put all the numbers together, it's actually the worst draft spot to be in.
Wow.
So Ben, sorry to say that, but I will say, with that being said, I still think I would rather be drafted 9th than drafting 12th.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah. 10th position, we come up with Depression. So AJ is going to be drafted in the 10th spot. This is another one of those picks that is all over the place. The mean finish, the average finish in this is 9th. But the best finish was actually second place back in 2019. So we've only had 4 years with 12 teams. The first 2 years we actually had only 8. So we have limited data on these last 4 spots. But this draft pick has ended the year 12th, 10th, 2nd, and 11th.
Oh,
wow. And so with that, this is actually the second worst spot to be in based on all that data.
AJ's going to be mad.
Yeah. So he's got a hill to climb, but
prove us wrong, AJ.
Yep, prove us wrong, AJ. With the 11th pick, we get Henpire Strikes Dak, Chip. I typically do not like drafting this far back, but when I pull the data, it's actually not a bad spot. The average finish is 4th with this draft slot, with the best being a Super Bowl win, and that happened back in 2018.
Let me just tell you, it doesn't matter where Chip's drafting, because he'll have a completely different team by the time the season's over.
by week
Well,
2.
that's
So
true.
it doesn't matter where Chip is drafting.
True.
It doesn't matter where Chip is drafting.
Yeah.
So
When you take all the data into account, this I project this to be the second best spot to draft.
wow.
Yeah, it's a good spot. A lot of good finishes. 2019 was an off year in that they ended ninth, but other than that, second, first, and fourth. So we get a lot of good teams from that 11th draft position. And then pulling up the rear here is Marine City Cubbies, and Donnie is probably not going to like the draft spot, but surprisingly, this has an average finish in a playoff spot. It's about fifth or sixth place. Yep, that's all you need. Just got to get in the playoffs. It's pretty consistent. It did so. The best finish this draft pick actually did win the Super Bowl back in 2019. But other than that year, this pick has ended seventh the other three times. Seventh, first, and seventh. So other than the Super Bowl year,
Wow.
it's very consistent. But with all that said, and with the Super Bowl win, when you take that all into account, it's actually the fourth best spot to draft. So,
Okay.
Looking at all the numbers, I was expecting your fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth picks to be your best four picks. I figured that's where you're going to get most of your playoff teams. And while you do get three of those spots, you do have playoff teams. You do find that the 11th and 12th pick are really good spots to draft, and those teams typically do very well.
Yeah, I like
So
going towards the end because then you have a little bit more information for where everybody's rushing to first round. And then you have that second pick, so or that second
yeah,
pick right
I don't
right
mind.
again.
I don't mind near the end of the round. I don't like the 12th.
Why
I don't
not?
like either
You don't?
end. I don't like first. I don't like 12th.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're always having to reach to get your players. And to a certain extent, you do have to reach with every spot, but with that, you have to reach by like a whole round
Yeah,
to
pretty
get
much.
your players if you want those players.
Well, especially first round, if you're first pick, because then you're drafting last the second round.
Yep.
So you don't know who's still going to be there, or because your guy probably won't be. So you have to make sure you get your guy.
Mhm.
Like I said, a top tier running back's usually going to be that pick. I would say more often than not. But we'll see.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. We've got, let me see if I can find the text to see who is going to be available in that spot. Bear with me 1 second.
Do we
There
know
we
what
go.
day the draft is on, Anthony?
So the proposal right now is that we would do it on Labor Day, Monday. So like the first Monday in September. I'm doing it that night at like 7. That's how we've done it the past few years, and it seems to work pretty well for most people. So that's what I'm throwing out there. If I get enough people that don't want to do it that day or they can't or whatever, I'm open to changing it. But I don't want to go too far forward
Right.
because of all like I think there might be more uncertainty this year than there was last year.
For sure.
So with that first pick, Adam's got some interesting players to choose from. McCaffrey's going to be out there, Delvin Cook, and Zeke Elliott. I don't know if I would take Zeke with that first pick, but he is out there.
Yeah, someone take Zeke.
Yeah, no, I know you definitely don't want Zeke to make it to you, right? So I have a question. If Zeke makes it to you, what do you do?
I'd hate to be in that spot.
I know.
If Zeke makes it to me, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. It depends who else is on the board. It really does.
Yeah.
Because I got some players that I got in my mind that I'm not gonna spill the beans on yet, who I think could be a top tier running back or a top tier wide receiver that I
So if
don't
you're
think other
interested-
people are gonna think of.
If you're interested, I'd be willing to trade you spots. Just flip them completely.
No, I mean, what spot are you in? Like third?
Second.
Wasn't Jeremy second technically?
I'm sorry, I'm in third. You're right. Yep.
I'll think about it.
All right, you think about it. Well, I guess that gives everyone something to think about here. We can all start doing our draft prep based on our spots here.
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm really
Probably
scared.
don't mess up that pick,
I'm
Jeremy.
gonna get judged hard.
So it's the 25th when we're recording this. we got one more week in July. I'm thinking probably the second week in August, probably mid-August. I'm gonna set the deadline for the keepers, and that'll give everyone like 2.5 weeks to kind of digest that, who the keepers are and who's going to be out there and things like that. So I'll post something on Facebook here in the next day or two.
Okay.
And we'll go from there. And then I'll post this on Facebook as well, the draft results.
Perfect.
Sounds
For
good.
anyone who doesn't watch this. So
All right.
all
Alrighty.
right.
Thank you guys very much for listening. If you have any interest in being on the show or have any feedback about the show, feel free to let us know on Facebook. Thanks for watching. See you later.
All right. Bye guys.
Yeah.